Hey guys, Kyle here, and sorry it's been a while since the video, but the 6-speed conversion was pretty successful, not perfect. We'll get to some more videos about what wasn't good about it in the future, and I will be tearing it apart again this winter, and this time I'll try and document it a little better. So if there's anything you want to see with a manual swap from automatic, please let me know and I'll do my best to include it in the video. But basically this video is just going to go over my car right now as it sits. Let me know what you think, and in a future video I'll do my ideas for it in the future. So first we're going to go ahead and see the engine bay. Lots of stuff was done to this, so here we go. So there's the engine. It's the same engine, but a lot has been done. So where do I even begin? I don't even know. Alright, so start with the obvious. It's a painted engine bay. I did quite the wire tuck, battery and fuse box relocation to the trunk. Actually, I'll pop my trunk now, show you that in a little bit if you want to see that. Cleaned it up. There used to be a coolant overflow over here, but I simply relocated it down here with a little Good Life Fitness bottle. AC was deleted, so the front of the engine bay is really clean in my opinion. I would love to get 2 red horns just to set it off. Over here we have the strut bar, which was there before. What else did I do? There's this oil catch can. I believe it's about a 2-liter catch can. There's my hand for comparison. And it has braided lines going into the valve cover. A lot of people run one to this PCV valve, but I just stuck a filter on top of that, along with a filter on top of my idle air control valve. Whereas before it went into the intake on my turbo, I barely noticed any difference with idling, so really nothing to complain about there. I also did a lot of heat tape, because there used to be ABS and traction control. That was deleted as well, which opened up a lot of space, which causes it to get a bit hotter, I think. So I have a turbo blanket, wrapped downpipe, and some wrapped electrical going into the main body of my car. I wish I could make that look a little cleaner, but really it's not that bad in the big picture. We also decided to spray paint the cooling fan. This does not have a shroud, and you know what, I actually don't mind it. Just don't go in your engine bay when it's running. Down here, a little behind the scenes, there's the intercooler piping coming off of the turbo. It used to, I don't know if you remember, I'll maybe put a picture in, come up, over, down, through a hole right under this box here, but I did fill the hole in with a little plate. I'm not sure if you can see it from the bottom here. No, you can't really. Oh, there it is right there. So that's where the hole used to be, and now there's a plate on top. And then of course the intercooler piping just goes down, under, through the intercooler, up there and in. And the last thing I hid, which I'm going to be fixing this winter, is the igniter box right down there, which causes the intercooler pipe to get a little close to the fan blade for my liking. It's literally a centimeter away, but it does the job. Anyway, let's get to the interior. My bad, before we do the interior, let's take a quick look at battery and fuse box relocation. Don't mind the bottles of fluid back here. That's just in case of emergencies. But basically along the driver side of the car, I extended every wire of the fuse panel, tucked it under the carpet and up my fender. There ended up being around 70 wires. These are all 14 gauge, which is a little overkill, but better safe than sorry. That goes into the fuse box, which on my car is absolutely gigantic. It's almost the same size as my battery, which I put right here inside of a marine battery box and ran the starter and alternator cables along the other side. Have the ground right here, just going to a sanded off portion of my car, because you have to make sure you get a good ground contact. And lastly, this currently is uninstalled because I did it wrong the first time. I put it on the opposite side I was supposed to, so it actually wasn't allowing the starter to get enough current. But that's basically just a Stinger 150 amp circuit breaker instead of a fuse, which is always a good idea, just so you don't blow any fuses. Alright, so now we'll move on to the interior. So I haven't done too much in here, still got the stock steering wheel and seats, but I have plans for that. Now sitting in the car, it's really hot in here, so let's make this quick. The stereo is broken. I'm gonna fix it, might do a video on replacing that. But here is the main difference. The center console has been modified. Let's open up the sunroof, let in some light. There's my two gauges. I made a custom gauge pod just out of some sheet aluminum, drilled some holes in it. Of course, we got True Boost and air fuel ratio. There's my shifter, custom shift knob, an old shift bag off of my girlfriend's RSX. This isn't perfect because these are really just wedged in place, and this one kind of falls out. This is taped, so it looks a little garbage, but I'm gonna fix that eventually. And I did buy a shifter shortening kit. Before it would have been literally here, so that really did help a little bit, but ideally I'd like it here, but I can't really afford to buy another one right now. That was expensive enough. So this is how it sits for now. Like I said, there's more to come. I don't have an e-brake at the moment, so I'm gonna install a hydraulic one and probably a cable too. And there's my 3 pedals, with that one on the left, of course, being the clutch from the Nissan 350Z. Okay, so time to go for a little drive. Let's start by starting it up. Alright, my car does struggle with hot starts, so it's not perfect. But basically, if you've heard about the JZ2 CD009 swap kit, you may have heard it grinds a little bit. So maybe put the camera nice and close to the transmission and listen in. You can kind of hear that rotating, clunking noise. You can hear it, but it's not as bad as you'd think it is. So that's one thing I wasn't too worried about. Now once we get some oil pressure here, I'll start her up. As you noticed, I didn't start the car with a clutch, which is important for this car because oil pressure is low, and with a manual conversion it puts a lot of pressure on the crank, and not putting the crank in before starting the car helps a lot with the crank walk issue, which is very common for our cars. Alright, so push the clutch in. The clutch isn't the best. The release is right on the bottom. That's because of the throw bearing length wasn't perfect. I use the stock throw bearing.
Oh, there's the driveway.
Yeah, we have a pretty steep driveway. Alright, let's take off. You may notice there's a squeak noise when I take off in first. And it's really just in first. I don't even know. If you think you might know what it is. It's basically when I take off in first, it squeaks. That's about it. Like, it could be transmission. Unfortunately, let's go right here. Unfortunately, this transmission, I'll see if I can get it to do it for you guys, grinds in almost any gear under 2,000 RPM. So if you're kind of lagging the transmission, I'll put it in third for you guys. That's more or less just drivetrain. There it is right there. You can kind of hear that. But shifts real nice. Again, the new transmission will help. I guess I didn't tell you guys yet. I basically bought the older version of the transmission. So this is actually a CD008. I thought it was an 09. When I bought it, I was wrong. Oh, Dodge Stealth, give it a shout out. Anyway, we're gonna get on a bit more of a straight road. We're in town here, so I'm not gonna go fast or anything, but I'll do a quick maybe second gear pull for you guys. First gear really doesn't work in this transmission, unfortunately. I'm not sure why, but you can't get any power and it just grinds and stuff. So the best pull I think would be in second gear. So I'll show you when that's about to happen. Alright, so we're going to do a little second gear pull to show you the blow-off valve noise. Alright, so that's very light acceleration. I'm going to turn up this right here, same one we went up before, and here's a little pull. Alright, so now you know a little bit about my car. I'll make a future video when it's back in the garage for the season about what I'm going to be doing to it. Big plans, not sure if I want to do a twin disc clutch, full interior racing seats, and tune it to plenty horsepower. Or just keep it nice and conservative just in case it breaks. But I'm going to try and film as much as possible with the project because we're going to be doing suspension, etc. So let me know what you think about it and what you want to see. And please like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.